Welcome to World Life with Eric and Kevin. What's up, y'all?
What's going on? Oh,
So, this is our second episode for everyone to see. Hoping everybody's excited for the movement, for what's happening, with everything we have to share. Like we said before, this is going to be a different type of reviews from us. We're going to do not only new movies, but also old movies. So, Eric, what we talking about tonight, man?
tonight we're talking about one of your favorites, Heist. Never seen it before, so I took a little bit of time, watched it. We did a little bit of rating before we hopped on, and we're just gonna go ahead and talk about it.
Yeah, like you said, one of my favorite movies, Heist. Gene Hackman. Really love this movie. My dad put me on to it when I was like 13, 14 years old. Movie came out in 2001. Let's go over the cast real quick. You got that pulled up, E, or let me pull that up real quick?
I got it memorized actually.
Go ahead.
I got the main people, the main cast actually. So you have Gene Hackman, who's legendary, of course. You also have Delroy Lindo. You might remember him from Malcolm X, Romeo Must Die,
Yep.
most recently The Five Bloods. So he has a pretty good, repertoire of films under his belt. Also Danny DeVito and Sam Rockwell. So
Yep.
yeah, pretty good, pretty solid cast, I would say.
Yeah, dope cast, really dope cast. Great director, David Mamet. He also directed one of my favorite movies, also Red Belt. I think he put me onto that movie.
Red Belt, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so we got to review that at one point, just because he directed it as well. So, um, first thoughts, man. Tell me about what you thought about the movie.
First thoughts. I thought it was good, honestly. Again, I'd never, heard of it before.
Hmm.
Um, I might be a little comical, but I kind of feel like it was a twist of Grumpy Old Men meets the Italian Job. Kind of what it felt like to me.
So, tell me, why do you say that? Because those are like two very distinct and different movies, you know?
um, well, Grumpy Old Men, well, Italian Job first because I mean it's a heist film, which kind of makes sense. But Grumpy Old Men because you got Gene Hackman, who, from the looks of it, is probably like in his mid to late 60s in the film.
Hmm.
Um, and he's just tired. Like, we'll get into it, but you can tell like he's tired. He wants out the game, and he's kind of like forced into a corner where he has to, do one last job. And yeah, it's pretty interesting.
Okay. So, the reason why I like the movie and a lot is because love Gene Hackman. He's a great actor in my mind. Danny DeVito, solid job. You
Yeah,
never seen Danny play like a darker character like that, and not many films outside of like, Penguin from, Batman
yeah,
Returns. So to be able to see him do that, I always like the when the bad guy wins, especially in heist films. So that's what else I liked about it. I also like when the bad guy's 3 steps ahead of everybody else or 4 steps ahead of everyone else. He's
yeah.
thinking upon a plan B, plan A. So that's what I really liked about the movie. I wouldn't say grumpy old man. You can tell he's out the game. He's burnt out. He wants to do one last job.
Yeah.
So the reason why he's doing one last job, ladies and gentlemen, is because he got burnt. So basically, when you get burnt, means your face is out there. Someone knows that you robbed or you did a job. So now he has to get an escape plan. One thing I didn't quite understand with the movie is like he never had an encounter with the police. Never. Like even though he couldn't get the tape with his face on it when he was doing the heist at the beginning of the film, the
Mhm.
police officers never encountered him at all. He never had to like explain who he was or running from the police. I didn't quite understand that. That's one
Yeah.
of the plot holes I would say is like, how in the world did this guy make it through almost a month in his face isn't everywhere?
Yeah. So you brought up a point with him getting burned. Did he get burned because he was tired, or did he get burned because he, just wanted to do it on purpose because he just wants out?
I
So like,
think it was a circumstance because
okay,
like he was either kill the girl or taser her, knock her out. So I'm thinking like it's definitely more or less like a conversation of like he's just trying to I think he wanted out. I think he just was like he had no choice.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, let's move on, man. Let's get to the nitty gritty of the show. All right. So, as you can see, this is the first heist job we're talking about where our guys basically gets caught.
Yeah. And he's got his boys. Well, Bergman, he's the guy who's, in charge of everything, calling the shots. And then you got the team, which consists of Pinky and also,
Mhm.
um, I kind of thought their dynamic was a little interesting. Um, I don't know, man. Like some of the jokes and some of the one-liners kind of took me out a little bit. Uh,
Yeah, we briefly talked about it yesterday. You kind of said it was like a kind of reminding you of Arnold Schwarzenegger's Commando. I don't specifically agree. A lot of like Arnold's known for his one-liners, or like his lines. So I just I didn't quite get it.
I'm trying to think. Like Pinky was the one that like really threw some stuff out there. When he was talking about, I forget his name, Gene Hackman's character. Uh,
Was it? Let me see. Let me pull it up real quick. His character's name is Joe.
Joe. Okay. So when he was talking about Joe, to I think Silk, and he was saying,
Yeah.
he's so cool. When he falls asleep, sheep count him, and I'm like, like
Oh,
yeah,
that line was kind of dope though. I now you say that, bro. I remember that line. He's like, you gotta go keep his cool. He's like, yeah,
yeah,
he's so cool. My guy's so cool. The sheep count him. I'm like,
yeah, yeah.
dang, that's cool.
That's the part that was a little cheesy to me, but it fit. It fit
It did
because
fit
I
the
feel
scene.
like they're like middle aged, like upper middle aged guys. Again,
Right.
my whole perspective is that they're doing this job and they really don't want to do it. So they're just like being really relaxed, especially the main character. He's being really relaxed when he's performing the heist. Um, yeah, that's just my perspective on it. It was good
I,
overall for what it was, but yeah,
I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. All
yeah,
right, let's get to the ratings, man. So I am DB rated it at a 6.5. Rotten Tomatoes gave it a 68%. And Fandango, the fans like us, gave it a 59%. And IGN gave it a 8 out of 10.
okay.
So, what are your thoughts? Do you agree with those ratings? Do you think it might have aged a little better? Because again, some of these ratings coming back from 2001.
I think I would say that IMDb and Rotten Tomatoes are probably the more accurate, ratings in my personal opinion.
Okay.
I think Fandango is kind of low. I think that was a little harsh. Um, and then IGN, if you're giving something, I would say a 7.5 and up, then it's fresh. I mean, according to Rotten Tomatoes rating, that's fresh.
Right. Right.
But I think 8 is kind of putting it like you know above average, which I don't know. Just in my opinion, I kind of feel like it was a little average. You had a great cast, which like made up for it, but I kind of feel like maybe it was just a little bit average. Not horrible. It was enjoyable, but yeah, that's just me.
I kind of agree with. I slightly agree with you saying because I feel like the cast really made up the movie.
Yeah,
Had it not been for Gene Hackman, Danny DeVito, Sam Rockwell, Delroy, this movie would not have been great. I feel
yeah,
like it was just because they got the roles, they played the roles so well, you
yeah,
believe that character, and you walked away with a solid film. A lot of times, it's proof that a lot of times the right actors can save a movie, no matter how bad it is. Sometimes,
yeah,
I'm not gonna say the movie's bad. I will say, was any other people, anyone else in the roles, I don't think I would have liked it as much.
yeah, yeah. And I think it
You know,
was. I think having certain actors in the film is kind of like a service to the fans. Um, and yeah, like I feel like their star power or their acting prowess, kind of
hmm
like carried the film. and they did the best, with the material that they were given.
I
So yeah,
100% agree with that. 100% agree with that.
I
All right,
wouldn't
so
rate it
let's
harshly though.
so let's
Yeah.
let's let's get to my favorite part of this show. Real guys rate. Real guys rate. All right, we're gonna start off with you, E. Pacing. What do you give it?
Pacing, 6.5. I would say it's slightly below average. Um, it kind of jumped in like kind of quick for me. I would have liked to get a little bit more background on the characters,
Mm-hmm.
from Gene Hackman, all the way down to his team. I would have liked to have known a little bit more about like how they came together, their dynamic, which we did get to see like their dynamic. I think pretty well. Like we saw that play out well throughout the film. But yeah, just a little bit of backstory, an extra 10, 15 minutes. I feel like would have made like a world of difference for me. Um, Cast, of course, great cast. Got some legendary people in there. Um, I was kind of shocked when I saw Silk played by Sam Rockwell, um, and he's like a chameleon to me. Like he can play almost any
Anything.
kind of role.
Right.
And he's one of those actors that you know the first time you see them, like you remember them, like for their role. Especially if it was a standout role. Um, and his standout role for me was when he played Wild Bill in The Green Mile.
I
Um,
agree with that. I 100% agree with that. I was
so
gonna say the same thing.
yeah, yeah. Every time I see him, that's like it takes me back there when I first saw that movie. Um, but yeah, good cast, cinematography. Again, 6.5, a little slightly below average. And I'll tell you what did it for me was when I think Bobby was kind of roughing up Silk a little bit, and he had pushed him down on the ground, and then like the angle cut to his knee, like his torso up, or like his torso below rather.
Mm-hmm.
And you saw him like just like kick him in the face, and I'm like, he didn't kick him that smoothly. Like, way, like this dude, and no offense to him, he's like probably in his mid, like late 50s at this point. Like, did he really kick him that well? I'm like, okay. So yeah, storyline was good. Um, Again, I think if they had given it like another 10 or 15 minutes, added to the film, I think they
Mm-hmm.
could have done more on the backstory, shown a little bit more about their dynamic, maybe like how they met up. Um, Overall, I would give it a 7.5 out of 10, which according to Rotten Tomatoes would be fresh. Actually, if it's 70% and up, it's fresh. But yeah, it was good for what it was. Again, I think the cast like really made it. Um, it's something that I would watch again. It was enjoyable. It held my interest. But yeah, that's just my opinion on it.
So I'm gonna check. Obviously, we're different a little bit on this movie because again,
Yeah,
it's probably part of its nostalgia for me, and that might be also be it. So pacing for me, I like that they jump right into action. The first scene you're having is like the operation of a heist. I wasn't looking for a lot of character development. I just accepted the characters and who they were and where
hmm
they were at in their life. So I kind of understood that part. Of course, cast 9 out of 10 in my mind. The only person that I felt like um, I didn't believe was Fran, who was played by Rebecca um, Pigeon. I didn't believe her character at all. I kind of felt like it just wasn't. It didn't do it for me. I feel like you could have replaced her with anyone else. It'd have been great.
yeah,
But she did great with what she had. Um, Cinematography, 7 out of 10. Like the flow, like how it moved. I also like David Mamet, of course, and Red Belt. So I like a lot of cinematography anyway. So I wasn't really upset with that. Storyline, I give it 8 out of 10 because I like when a character is smart and thinks ahead, and he has a double cross for the double cross and for the other double cross. So like basically, this guy got double crossed 3 times in this film, and he had a double cross for each time. So that was super dope. Um, and really liked. So overall for me came out to be an 8 out of 10. Of course, that's a B if you, or that's super fresh for me. Again, that might also be due to the nostalgia, because watching the movie with my dad, enjoying the movie, so that might also be part of the reason why I'm giving it this high of a rating. So my my thought, guys, may be slightly skewed, being
Yeah,
transparent,
yeah, and that's cool. It's different, especially when you've grown up with a film. You're definitely gonna rate it.
a
You
little bit
know,
higher.
yeah. I mean, there's stuff that I like that other people look at and they're like, wasn't that good? But I get it.
I mean,
I get it.
there was a movie you didn't watch it. Leslie holds you to this day. You didn't watch it. It was The Northman. You told us to go see The Northman because you saw the reviews on it and you're reading the big build up for a movie, and it was the worst movie I've ever seen in theaters.
Yeah.
Hands down,
that's
hands down. The
that's that's a high bar
worst
for.
film I've ever seen in theaters, and I'm like, huh?
No, I'm saying that's a high bar to say something is the worst film.
I mean, it was. I hated everything about the movie. Like I didn't like it. So
Yeah,
it was funny.
and the cast
I've
is
seen
great.
some. It was okay. So I would say the worst film I've ever seen in theaters outside of that would be The Last Airbender.
Never saw it.
I'm glad it saved you 2 hours of your life wasted. I will
Yeah,
never get those 2 hours back in my Shyamalan.
yeah,
Never,
yeah,
never. Didn't follow the storyline. Didn't follow the story correctly. It was horrible. So, this is back in the day when you bought the advance tickets, you waited in line, bro, line.
yeah,
I waited in line an hour to
yeah,
see a movie that I walked away angry.
yeah.
It
When you're
ain't
passionate
like
about
today,
something,
huh?
I said when you're passionate about something, you get those feelings.
Oh man, that was
Especially when
terrible.
you know the backstory of something and it's not followed through completely. Which I get. They only have what hour 50, 2 hours. Depending
Yeah,
on
I
what
don't get it,
the
bro.
budget is. Um, you got to try and fit a lot into the story, which kind of takes me back to Heist. I was a little confused about, um, Fran. Like, I never saw her like go off, with Silk. Like, how did that whole dynamic like happen? I never caught that.
So the dynamic kind of happened when he sent her to them to fix the job.
Okay.
Remember, they lost the job. And it was like, basically Pinky had left the car. And the car was found, but he left like a clipboard in there. So the job was done, and basically Gene Hackman's like, "Yo, Joe's like, I gotta get away. We have to finish this job." So, friend basically fix it,
Yeah.
and he sent her to fix it, and then that little weird love creation happened that I didn't quite understand myself because it didn't have enough time to develop.
Yeah.
It's just so, like, again, a nostalgia is the reason why I'm probably rating this movie so high, because now I'm talking to you out loud to you. My rating will probably be a lot lower, uh, slightly lower, because like there's some things I just didn't quite get or quite understand and didn't quite like. But I mean,
Yeah.
nostalgia is sometimes the biggest winner of all. Um, so
I was
we're
gonna
kind
say
go ahead.
um, about Pinky when Bobby was asking him about the car, and leaving the plan in the car. Did Pinky like was he like trying to play him? Like was he doing that on purpose? Was he
No,
acting
I
being stupid?
no, I think Pinky actually meant that. Like he
Okay.
left everything in the car. I think he made a mistake. I initially thought it was when I was younger. I always thought it was Silk who did that and set that up for them to get burnt on that first go around. But as you watch, that never comes back to connected. So you
Yeah.
just assume that it's just because Pinky made a mistake and Pinky was like not thinking correctly.
Because I thought
Um,
Pinky was playing like he made a mistake so that they could get out of doing the next job, and then Homeboy could sail away on his boat with Fran, and then that would be it. But then,
oh, then I also thought like basically the reason why he came back for the clipboard was to get him back on the job.
yeah,
You know what? That might be it. Pinky was probably playing dumb so he can get out. Get out. I think you're right. That makes
yeah,
more sense now. I think Pinky was playing dumb and saying he don't know how that got mixed up, so they can walk with the job. Then they were going to sell. He was going to sell his boat, steal the money from that guy, sell his boat, get his boat back, and leave that
Yeah.
same day. And then Silk came back saying he was Mrs. Clipboard, and Delroy's character was like, "What do you mean Clipboard? He never had the plans. I
Yeah.
would have his plans there. I'm not that dumb. Come on."
Yeah.
It makes sense now. Wow. Okay, I never thought about that. That actually
Yeah.
makes the story a little bit better now.
Yeah. Different perspectives. That's what it's all about.
Definitely is, bro. Definitely is, man. So, yo, closing remarks.
Those remarks. Good film. Definitely. I see it as a piece. I'm probably going to rewatch it, maybe see if there's some things that I missed, try to connect the dots. But overall, it was a decent film. Again, I'm not going to rate it too harsh. Also, not going to rate it too high because we're film lovers, so we're going to be honest about it. But overall, good. I enjoyed the cast. I enjoyed the storyline. So yeah.
Overall, honest truth, I probably need to rate this movie again because it may not be as high as I thought it was. I probably would come back with a 7.5 and match where you're at.
Yeah.
Be very transparent and not think about the movie out loud. Again, nostalgia is the biggest factor sometimes. Movies, some movies have a certain place in your heart. It's kind of hard to shake it, and as you can see, guys, it's kind of hard for me to shake it. But hey, man, we're gonna wrap this up, man. This is Real Life Reviews with Kevin and Eric. Again, we're the real guys. Follow, like, subscribe. Be blessed. Also, remember, life's a movie. Enjoy it while you're here.
All right. Peace out.